What is up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 104, and I am Adam Choit. To follow the show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. Just search Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. If you're watching, you are, of course, already there. So please be sure to subscribe and give the video a like and share the page and all that. I definitely appreciate all the support for sure. I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow me. And of course, please be sure to subscribe to the show on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. That is appreciated. And I will put out an audio version of this episode, of course, within the next day or so. My other podcast is People We Love. Please check that out at People We Love Podcast on Instagram. My short film is The Edited. It's that I wrote and directed. It's at theeditedmovie.com. I'm going to keep this short because I want to get into today's episode in a moment and bring on my guests because we're going to do a recap of the band Tedeschi Trucks Bands. Just shows that they just did February 16th through the 18th at the Warner Theater in DC. And I did not get through all the shows yet, but I wanted to just, before I forget, and I'm sure this is going to come up, but I wanted to thank Alex Leary for all the recordings. He recorded all 3 shows, and I got through 85% all of it. I still have a few more songs to get through, but I know all the songs. So my guests that I'm about to introduce will tell me all about the details of what I maybe did not get a chance to hear. So let's bring on a couple of fans who were at these shows. I do not have anyone who was on. These guests were not there for Thursday night show, the first show, but I did listen to it, and I'm sure these guys know all these songs, and we'll talk about that show a little bit as well. But without further ado, let's bring on Bob Oze Farrell and Frank Kuhns and Misty as well, who is with Frank. How we doing, guys?
Hey, what's up, Adam?
Oh, we're here. We're working. I hear you. I see you. We got all the things. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Very cool. We'll dive into the shows in a minute, but I kind of want to know. Well, Bob's been on the show before, of course, but Frank, I want to kind of know, and this so that we can, I'm sure, go on tangents. And Misty too. How did you guys just first get into Tedeschi Trucks? Well, where are we, and how did we get into Tedeschi Trucks Band?
Yeah, so Misty and I live outside of Washington, D.C., in a town called Oakton, Virginia. And in 2015, huge Allman Brothers fans. So my brother and I have seen the Allman Brothers multiple times. And in 2014, on a Thanksgiving Eve, Misty and I were talking to my brother, Brian, and we wanted to invite him and his girlfriend down to Washington, D.C. to see a show. In February of 2015, we invited Brian and Carrie to come down and see Tedeschi Trucks. It was our first show together. We were at the last row in the orchestra, right below the soundboard, and just saw the most amazing set from Tedeschi in 2015. And 30 days after that show, we lost my brother, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unexpectedly. And I reached out to the band and I said, if there's anything I can have from that show, if there's something, a memento, I would be forever grateful. And someone through Facebook wrote me a note from the band and directed me to a recording from the soundboard where in 2 of the songs, you can hear my brother call out in the crowd. And from that moment, Misty and I were immortalized as just by far the most amazing band we have seen, and we've seen so many great shows, but Tedeschi has been something very special in our heart. And every February we make the pilgrimage to the Warner, and every summer we go to Wolf Trap to see the band play at Wolf Trap. So 13 shows now.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few shows here, but very, very special band to us.
So you said you discovered them in 2015, or that was the first show?
We have been listening to Tedeschi Trucks for 2013, 14.
Okay.
Right around when Derek's band and Susan's band individually, because Ron Holloway was playing with Susan Tedeschi, and listened to her, and then the Derek Trucks band. We were very familiar with them, but not had a chance to see actually Tedeschi Trucks live until 2015.
Gotcha. Well, why don't we get into the shows a little bit, and you can tell me about well, you guys went to you went to Frank, you went to the last show, the Saturday night show,
Yeah.
and Bob, you went to Friday and Saturday. So neither of you guys went to Thursday's show, but you know what? I want to go look at the set list of it because I did listen to it, and you guys, of course, know all these songs anyway, of course. So let's I want to share that here. Let's see. There we go. You see it?
Yep.
We got Anyhow, Chevrolet, Rainy Day, Do I Look Worried, Gravity, Take Me As I Am, Circles Around the Sun, Passaquan, Bell Bottom Blues, Signs, High Times, I Am the Moon, Playing with My Emotions, The Sky is Crying, I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free, and Let Me Get By for the encore. That was for the audio listeners. Everyone else, of course, can see. And of the four people here, Misty, you didn't listen to the show on archive or anything like that?
I did not.
But it was fabulous, and you know, people love hearing Anyhow and Chevrolet, and the band, of course, has been having a sense of humor about the corporate commercial tie into that, but like they're on fire with these songs, and it's fun to see them have a sense of humor about that. And just this was a stellar set list and an amazing set list, and I like how like Take Me As I Am and Circles Around the Sun, those kind of really have throwback vibes to it, and Circles Around the Sun more of a psychedelic 60s vibe, but Take Me As I Am, as I think I've mentioned to you, Bob, and others, has like a Mad Dogs kind of feel, like a 60s ballad, like a joke. I could hear like Joe Cocker singing that kind of song. So I feel like those really go together. There's such a method to the madness to the set lists, I feel like. What do you guys think about what we're seeing? Well, we won't spend too much time on this one, of course, but
I think this is probably the most heavy on the latest albums, it looks like. You know, it looks like like the shows that were from last year in the Beacon, you know, a lot of songs from the last four albums, but this looks like it was that compared to the other two set lists that we've seen.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about these shows. I think now the 2023 shows, it's like maybe a little bit it's like more open, because obviously last year they're going to go really, really heavy on all the new stuff, and we're still going to get a lot of I Am the Moon stuff. But now it's kind of, you don't really know what you're going to get. They want to get a little bit of kind of everything, even with the Beacon 50, the show. I remember they played I think they played one song from all of their albums until they got to I Am the Moon, and then they played like the whole one of the albums or something. There's a whole method to the madness that gets them to cover like really all their bases, their originals, the covers that they like, but enough Almonds, enough Derek and the Domino stuff. Like they keep track. They're on top of it, Bobby, Derek, and the band.
You know, it's funny. I think in February of 2020, they opened with Anyhow at the Warner. That was a show Misty and I went to. But Anyhow is a very synonymous opener for them. In 2015, when we went, it was All That I Need, which with Kofi and that flute, just magical, just truly magical how they electrify that Warner Theater, and the energy when you walk into the Warner. It's like, I mean, I've seen shows all over the United States, but there's something so magical about Tedeschi and the Warner. But when they open up with a song like Anyhow, Bob, you're very lucky to see them on Friday night with that opener. It's just electric.
Yeah, this is Thursday night. No, I missed this one too.
Oh, that's Thursday?
Yeah, this is Thursday night.
Dang, it's like flipping a coin with these guys. You know, it's sometimes you think the first night is going to be the off night where they go into deep space and like jazz with the horn section, and you want to try to make your mark on like what night's going to be the hot night. And Misty and I were like, we're going Saturday. That's the night we feel like we're gonna peg it. And it was still a good set list, but this was Thursday. Man, that's an awesome set list.
Yeah, that's why I try to get multiple nights, because you know I have that FOMO, that fear of missing out. That you know, and I don't want to miss out on whatever greatness is coming those nights. You know.
Yeah, just a great set list all around. And I guess what they say, whoever they are, is that it's best if you can only go to one show, go to the last night of the run. Is that more because like the band's leaving, they're going to throw the kitchen sink out at you and leave it all on the table, whatever that means. And also, I guess, a potential for guests or something is more likely on the last night. Are those kind of the two main reasons why going to the last night is preferred?
We've gone last night, first night, middle night. I mean, we've ran the gamut at the Warner, and it's flipping a coin. You know, here's a great example. This is the first night, and this set list is sick. But then again, we were there Saturday, and I was like, that was amazing. Like they really brought some. They brought some big songs on Saturday. So I don't know.
It's funny because I'm looking at Passaquan here on Friday, on the first night, and then I think it was on the last night of they did Idle Wind, or no, they did on when did they do Idle Wind? On the next night, Saturday. I wonder, on Friday rather. Friday. I wonder, it's funny because like when they're doing the drums, I wonder if they can almost like accidentally go into Passaquan versus go back into Idle Wind, because it is it revs up in a little bit of a similar style. So when I was listening to Idle Wind today, I was like, oh, is this for a second? I thought maybe I wonder if they can, they could have the tendency to almost slip into Passaquan. But like both of those songs are of course awesome.
They can roll into anything at any
their
moment.
own thing.
Yeah.
Yep. There'll be, I could see being a time where it's like almost like they have so many songs and so many songs to choose from, and they do medleys and throw in little teases. Like, they may have to do a medley of their own stuff, or teases with, their own songs within their own other songs, potentially, if they keep expanding their catalog.
When they do Any Day, and they go into Blue Skies, that's by far my favorite. And I have yet to see it live. We missed it by a day at the Warner last year. We were the night they played Any Day into Blue Skies. That was just ridiculously sick. So many overturns of the almonds with Blue Skies, and I missed that by a day. But no, Adam, it's 100% right. Where it's like Derek can float in and out of so many amazing things at any moment in any song. You just get these vibes and these feelings. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Tell me more, about, and you guys could, I guess, both speak to this, and you kind of did already a little bit, about the Warner and your journeys getting there and that experience. So I guess, well, Bob, you tell me about, because you were there on Friday. So
I was there Friday.
Tell me, about your journey there Friday. And Frank, you could jump in, because I'm sure you'll have some similar experiences of arriving at the venue, and you covered kind of the feeling of getting in there also a little bit.
The Warner for me is I came to the Warner the first time last year, and that followed. That was because the Beacon, my first kind of run at the Beacon, and my my never fulfilled need for Tedeschi Trucks, and if they're within a 3-hour drive, I'm headed their way when they do a concert, and that's how I ended up at the Warner. And my wife and I, we took a couple weekends, and we saw both weekends. So the Warner is a tight little theater. It reminds me very much of the Beacon. It's small, it's intimate. The only issue with the Warner is on the side where I like to be, the aisle, which is all the way over on the far side. Half the band kind of gets cut off with the amps, and you can't see a portion of the band. Now, listen, that doesn't bother me. I know what everybody looks like. I'm here to hear them. So, I still like my aisle seat so I can boogie and not bother anybody. I don't like to feel like I'm in front of anybody when I'm dancing my head off. But it also the last couple nights, I noticed I'm watching the band a little more because I can't see who's playing. So I'm watching the others watch, like the horn section. I was over on Gabe's side for this run, for these 2 weekends. And I could watch the backup singers. I could watch Alicia and Mark and Mike watch the horn section and smile. And you could see them just enjoying each other's solos. And it's fun to watch them enjoy each other. and give each other high fives or kudos when they really nail it, like Alicia did on Bound for Glory. So, how about you, Frank?
No, very similar. We were on the left side. So if you're facing the stage, we're on the left side. And by far the best seats we've ever had at a show. Before the show, you know, again, this is a very special show for Misty and I. It's the last show that I got to see with my brother. So we take a tremendous amount of time and respect to get to the show a little bit early, to hang out with fans, to talk to people, to, you know, make sure we get our beers and our chasers and just hang out in the space. Let the ambiance of that theater soak in. You can feel the richness of the talent that is played there year and years a time before even Tedeschi. All the amazing shows that have been in that Warner Theater. You're right by the White House in Washington, D.C., from comedy to live music. There's a spirit inside that venue that is like nothing else I've ever been to in my entire life. Of all the venues Misty and I have been to, there's just something so special. And you know, with the pandemic and people not being able to be out and live, there was something electric, in my opinion, on Saturday night. And we always get to the show 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time. And I personally always buy an autographed poster by the band. Well, we got there about 30 minutes before the show started, and we missed getting a signed poster by 2 people. So I ended up buying a poster, and Misty knew I was like just totally bummed that I couldn't get an autographed poster, but it's all good. I still got the poster from the show. We make our way down there. We get our shot right in front of the stage. Kofi, his imagery and his likeness are on the backdrop of the stage. And, you know, we're just surrounded by these amazing people, and we're just talking to them about, I make a joke. I'm like, you know, Misty's going to start dancing here in a second. So don't mind your elbows. And, you know, I don't want anyone to get hit.
Spills her beer.
Spills her beer. And it's a joke because Misty's pretty conservative. When she's at the show, I'm the one in the aisle spinning and dancing like a hippie. But you meet these people, and it's truly electric. And it's a pilgrimage to go down there and just be surrounded by these kind people that are just there for the same mindset of being exposed to this music, this wall of sound. Like it is, that's the best way I can describe it to people. It's like you're coming out of church, you know, it is a wall of sound for an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes that when you leave, you're on a euphoric high. I don't know how else to explain it to people who haven't seen Tedeschi, but that's the way it is. I mean, it's just like you're so uplifted. And that show just delivered on Saturday night on so many levels.
It's such its own unique experience seeing Tedeschi Trucks Band and seeing Tedeschi Trucks Band. It sounds like at the Warner versus even seeing other acts at the Warner and the interactions with the band personally, as you've kind of described earlier on in your life back, you know, several years ago. Like you're not the first person. Every single person, like not every single, well, I guess every single person who's encountered the band in some way has a positive reaction to them. But a lot of people have stories that are similar to yours, how the band has gone the extra mile for fans that I guess really need the love from the band and want to have some sort of shared experience and shared memory. Like they take that very seriously, and they don't promote themselves. They don't promote themselves in that way. They don't go out of their way to pat themselves on the back. They just do it behind the scenes. But like every single person who I've talked to that's had like that sort of personal interaction with them it's been just cool to hear that. And like so many people have stories like that. It's like Susan crying with people on the sidewalks about family members who listen to the show, like just like exactly what you're describing, just like a lot of personal meaning, you know, this music and this band has, and the fans have a connection to them in a different way than I think most fans have with most of whatever your favorite band is that's out there, you know.
100%.
It's own unique experience for sure. Let's get into the night 2 set list a little bit for sure. Let's do that. Is that it right there?
Yep.
That's
right
set
in. Set 1. Don't let me slide. Don't drift away. Yes, will Emmeline. Ain't that something? Why does love got to be so sad? La di da. and Idle Wind.
Yeah, set one was really kind of bluesy. I really felt it was a very bluesy, kind of jazzy kind of first set. Each one of those songs, they kind of, it was kind of a jazzy, kind of bluesy feel to them. And set one was good, but I can't wait to get to set two, because set two was on fire.
Set two rocked my world, man. No, I agree, Bob.
Well, this is Friday night.
Oh, that's Friday night. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is Friday.
I was going to say, the Letter was what opened on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
We opened with the Letter on Saturday. But yeah, what I remember about that one is the Idle Wind close of the set. I think that did you mention that, Adam, that you would listen?
Yeah. The drums. I'm like, oh, we got some Passaquan vibes a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. They left us going to intermission, wanting for more, and it was a good first set. It really was. It was fun to start off for me. That was starting off the run for me, that first set.
Yeah, we haven't been getting a whole lot of the don'ts, I guess. The don't let me slide, don't drift away. I think we might have heard a couple. Did we hear those on Florida runs? Maybe don't let me slide was played in Florida, but I don't know if don't drift away was played in Florida. I could be mistaken. Maybe I just didn't hear it on a recording, but they haven't been playing those as much. The other ones, those other songs that we see, they've been digging into for sure. A lot of the new stuff. About what half this set was. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got five or four new ones from the I Am the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was stellar for sure. I mean, just listening, like Gabe is great on all this stuff, and Mike on Emmeline, and just like such a cool, haunting sound.
Yeah, and I love Lottie Da. That's what I kind of like. That's a particular favorite of mine.
Yeah, I've been playing that one on guitar myself. That's in my rotation as an amateur. Certainly. This is
okay.
This is
the second set.
Blind, Crippled, and Crazy. Is that the full title? Joyful Noise, Looking for Answers, Whiskey Legs, How Blue Can You Get? Walk on Gilded Splinters, Shame, Midnight in Harlem, Made Up Mind, and then in the encore for Saturday night was Stand Back and Mr. Clean.
So from Whiskey Legs, I think Susan said this is going to be Whiskey Legs, or someone mentioned it was Whiskey Legs, because I knew from the Beacon that when they announced that they were going to play Whiskey Legs, it was time to get my camera out. And I don't like to get my camera out too often, but on Whiskey Legs, Derek and Susan have this little duel, this little guitar solo duel that they like to do on Whiskey Legs. And it's so fun to watch, because Susan will take a lick and then she'll turn it over to Derek. And then Derek will take a lick and he'll turn it over to Susan. And it goes back and forth. And they did that. And I'm trying to think of which song they did it on the second night. We'll talk about it, Frank, but they do it on the second night too. So then they did How Blue after that. And then Mike comes out for Gilded Splinters. And Frank, have you guys had the pleasure of hearing Gilded Splinters in live?
I'd have to go back and look at the set list. I can't remember that we have.
Gilded Splinters. If you can, just grab a video. Ed Gelderman has a lot of great videos out there for Gilded Splinters, because I'm going to tell you what a song. I love that song and I love it in concert. And they did not do Shame. It's on the set list there, and I noticed it now. But they did Gilded Splinters, and that went right into Midnight, which was amazing. I'd never seen that. It's amazing. Two song little, and Midnight was a 12-minute Midnight.
Dang. 12
minutes. I mean, the solos from one to another, and then Made Up Mind. I mean, it was just fire. It really was. It really was.
Yeah, totally. I had a chance to listen to this set today, and I think Blind, Crippled, and Crazy, like I think that caught people a little bit by surprise. That was unexpected. They haven't played that on this year, and certainly I think in quite some time. And there are quite a bit of fans out there who are always clamoring for more Derek Trucks Band stuff. It's never the right thing. It's never enough. We want more Susan. We want more Derek. We want more covers. We want more original. Everybody always wants something that they're not currently doing. But that's what we're saying is we want surprises and we want the old stuff. But they can't do it all. But that's like, I think what's great is that there'll be even more surprises, I think, moving forward, because they have just so many more choices now, you know, to choose from. They already had a big catalog even before they had as many originals, just because they do so many covers, and that Derek and Susan's bands go back so far. Outside Woman Blues, Susan and Derek do the back and forth a little bit. And what's the other one that they do with Mike on lead? They use it sometimes for an encore. It's like an upbeat. What's the upbeat song that Mike sings on it? It slipped my mind off the top of my head.
Well, it'll be in show Saturday night. They went
Saturday night show. I think they did that.
Nothing Can Hold Me Down. That was a Derek and Susan note for note back and forth. That was insane.
Yes. That was the one I'm thinking of. And it reminded me so much of Whiskey Legs, the way they go back. And I don't know if you noticed, but Derek went up to Susan right before that and whispers something in Susan's ear right before that. It was almost like he said, "Do you want to go at it?" kind of thing. And they kind of smiled at each other, and then it began, and they started going back and forth. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, and they don't overdo that, and they don't overuse the call and response between them, because they could, like, there's bands that, you know, I'm sure can do that every song if they really wanted to, but they don't overuse that, and it's cool to see, and fans of course love that. Stand Back and Mr. Clean was awesome to listen to, like, and they did go back into Stand Back towards the end, like when they ended it, and it's just like, it almost felt like listening to that, it had like To Be Continued vibes to it at the end of the show, just the groove and the way they kind of ended the song. It was almost like, stay tuned for Saturday night show. It had like a To Be Continued, like, kind of vibe, versus like when they play something like With a Little Help from My Friends for an encore, which they haven't done in a while. I remember they did that, I think, at the end of the Beacon 2021.
The Beacon,
yeah. That when they play that's for the end of the last night of a last show and saying goodbye. But ending with Stand Back is like, the groove is To Be Continued. It was cool. And Mr. Clean, I'm not sure how they got that into the set. Do you guys know maybe the story behind that? It sounds like they almost just organically came into it, just the way they probably one of the horns just kind of just started playing something from that, and Derek was probably like, let's do that.
Slip into it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things do happen that way. So that's my guess, that it was just an organic thing and they rolled with it. But no, like, it sounds great to me, and I love how they did, you know, went back into Stand Back, and that's one of my favorite Allman Brothers songs for sure. Yeah, this was just a stellar set list, as all the other ones we've looked at so far. Yeah, Gildan Splinters, like David Flam was talking about, how when they do that live, they, like, the whole arena, the whole theater is like shaking. It's like it's like a tribal, real spiritual thing going on. Looking for Answers is cool too. Really hear that was just like super haunting, goosebumps in my car, the whole 9 yards for that too. It really takes you to another universe, that song, certainly.
Yeah, I re-listened to Saturday's show so far. I haven't re-listened to Friday's show yet.
Can't wait to dig back into all those. We could go into the last night, or the last night of the show, because that was the one you were both at.
Yes. Yeah, that's
very cool. All right, let's see. That was
it's funny, you know, sometimes I get photos and stuff, but it's the first show where I meticulously recorded notes, like, on my phone from like each song, like, about, I wanted to talk to you guys about the show. And I have like so many, like, these each on the side stage. So Bob, where you and I were on the right, if you looked over, there was a clock. And I was watching that clock, and I was like making a note, 8:27, 9:52. You know, I was like making a note of every moment that I saw, and I have it recorded via text to Misty. And I can't wait to dive into this.
Yeah, and I pulled up a picture here. You took this, right, Frank?
Possibly. I think I only grabbed like one picture of the show.
Yeah, you sent it to me. This is a pretty good picture. I
just wanted to be in the moment so much, and
you're like that's like me. Yeah, I'm like, let me record at least one song. Let me get one audio, one picture, one, get me like one of everything. I did start streaming a little bit, like on the podcast Instagram page. That was kind of fun. I had some of the Beacon shows and different shows, but yeah, no, I try to be in the moment too. Like too many things going on. I just want to enjoy. What else we got here? That's you and Misty right there.
That's me and Misty. Yeah.
Very cool.
That picture of Kofi in the back is just like sick. I love that when I go into a show. From a keyboardist and a flautist, there was no one better, and what he brought to that band. But Gabe, I'm going to tell you something. I've never been moved so much in my life listening to him play the keys on Saturday night. Like it was like something I never felt before. It was insane.
I believe it. Yeah, no, he's a talent, and he's brought his own style and to the band for
100%,
sure.
100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up where did I do it? Let me get the set list back up here. Let's do that. Where did it go? I lost it. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to get into that.
No, while you're looking for it, I mean, they came out with the letter. That was like the opener, and it just freaking rocked that theater. Like just the energy and the vibe when you're sitting there, you're anticipating and waiting for those lights to dim, and those lights dimmed, and it felt like 3 seconds from when the lights dimmed to when Susan and Derek walked on the stage and hit it, and I was like, holy cow. Like just that energy in that first song was like, just gave me the chills. Like I was transcended at that moment.
So Frank, on my podcast with Adam, I related my first concert was in Atlantic City, and the second song was The Letter.
Yeah.
And that's what really kind of hit me as, wow, this band is awesome. So I brought a friend, and it was his first Tedeschi Trucks show on Saturday. And I've been trying to get him to go to one of these shows because he's kind of a bluesy he likes the same kind of bands as I do. And for circumstance, he hasn't been able to go, but we did. And I was trying to go over with him, like, well, maybe they'll start with this because they played this last night and they played this last night. And one of the songs I mentioned was The Letter. I said, maybe they'll open with The Letter. And then they opened with it.
You're in tune. You're on the same wavelength with them.
Well, kind of, but I was hoping for Passaquan. I didn't know they played it on Thursday, or else I would have given up hope on that.
I wanted to hear Passaquan so bad, but
it would have been possible a Thursday Passaquan and a Saturday Passaquan. It wouldn't have been unheard of. But I think you got the Dreams. I think that's that was.
Well, I think they went with that. Let me break down my notes. Where in Falling with Mike, Derek's solo was nuts at 8 minutes and at 8:29. It was stupid.
It truly was. Frank, I'm glad you took those notes because I was thinking about doing the same, but I got caught up in the moment. And in that, when I get caught up in the moment, all I can do is dance. And Derek, just unbelievable. But we'll talk about Susan's second set, right?
Well, before you do that, at 8:34, Susan, in Part of Me, missed a lyric. And there was this magical moment on stage where she turned and you just see the entire band, like giggling like school kids. and she just missed a lyric. And it was like, but it was so joyful. And like, I go to Misty, I grabbed her. I'm like, Susan missed the turn. Like she missed it. It was like, so like just fun, and they roll right off their back. So it's like, F it, we missed it, like roll into the next part. And that's exactly what they did. And it was just like so pure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, humor is definitely, I keep saying it, but like having a sense of humor and having a sense of humor about themselves is definitely part of the experience for them. Like just talking about how they play Anyhow and Chevrolet, and if Susan misses a lyric, they kind of continue on and are able to just laugh about it no pun intended, I guess. In no TTB pun intended, but like, yeah, in the moment, certainly. And some of those, like what you were talking about with Fallen and what Derek does and kind of like the outro solo, like it's incredible. Like it's not it's not always the loudest, fastest solos he does or anything like that, but just something about like the minimalist grooves that he just like are just so unique and so signature. It's just so ear catching. And I know, like, it's everything is kind of quiet, and you get the harmony vocals. I'm in love with what they do, especially at the you think the song is over, but there's really like 2.5 more minutes of Derek and Derek being Derek and the band being the band. I love that as this entire. Somebody pick up my pieces. They haven't done that in a minute. That was super cool to hear.
Well, that was 8:41, and when Susan's like, Willie Nelson is now, I forget his age, but like 90 years old.
Yeah, she mentioned his birthday, I think.
And she mentioned his birthday, and then they went into that song. That was a moment where I just, phone was in a pocket, and I just absorbed that 5.5 minutes of my life, just being in that moment of listening to that. And Susan's solo on the back half of that was very, very special. It was insane.
Do you think that Willie knows that they played that like and on his birthday and said, does that come back to him? Like I'm kind of curious
at some
about
point
that.
It has to, right, Adam? It has to. Like he's
a
YouTube video of somebody like hitting that to him going, look what these guys did.
Right. Somebody is sending it to him. Yeah. Or letting him know. You're right. I would think so. And then they did do I Want More. And I think they did Soul Sacrifice here. Not listed. Am I correct about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think they did, and I'd have to check the.
Unless I'm imagining things. I did get through that and a big chunk of most of the second set
Frank,
as well.
What do you have in your notes for Just Won't Burn?
I'm trying to look.
You guys are funny.
The only thing I have is at 9:03, Susan and the entire band was on fire. Like that was my note. That would have been right about that time.
And Adam, when I thought, man, this band, when they hit on all cylinders, there's nothing like it in the world. There truly isn't. And they were hitting on all cylinders. And Susan's solos were amazing. Her guitar
very
was
good.
Fire.
Yeah, she really lit it up.
Fire.
Yeah, no, it's like stellar. All like I don't know how they get better, but they do, and more expressive, and you hear new sounds and just new things coming from both of them and from both of their guitars. It's just super, super amazing. And Just Won't Burn is a showstopper and essential to have a bluesy Susan song and these sets if they can get it in, especially one of the older ones from her career. Amazing stuff all around. Despite somebody pick up my piece of somebody being spelled wrong, but they spelled somebody spelled right, but somebody pick up is spelled differently. I'll do spell check. No, it's all good. But yeah, what a great set. And Last Night in the Rain, that we didn't even talk about that, but maybe that's my favorite one of all, and it possibly like it's so catchy. It's maybe the most catchy song from any of the I Am the Moon albums.
Yep.
I think that's saying something. Yeah. Everyone loves that one, I think.
Yeah. And Gabe comes out with his piano in that too. I like that. I enjoy that one.
Yeah. All their songs are about rain and don't do this and things about the rain. Yeah. Should we get into the second set?
I just know at the intermission, Misty and I both went to go use the restroom downstairs, and we both got giant 22-ounce IPAs followed by Jack Daniel's sippers. And I knew we ran into some friends of ours that played our brewery, a bunch of Grateful Dead cover bands that were there that we ran into and shared some hugs and shared some excitement about the first half. And we were excited for the second set. And I was floored by the second set. Just how it opened, how it expanded. And ultimately, like Dreams was my high watermark of the night. It just, when they hit that note and Gabe took the first chorus.
Did he not sound Allman-ish?
Oh, Bob,
I did. I heard it. I heard it a little. I don't know. I thought maybe I heard it differently, or maybe he did something differently, but it rang more Almondsy than maybe I'd ever heard. And I couldn't really articulate why. Maybe I just happened to be. But it's funny that you said that. You guys say that.
He channeled Greg in every positive aspect of that song. And I didn't want to jump ahead too far, but that was
jump around all good.
Yeah, it was just. I'm like grabbing my wife going, they're playing dreams. They're playing dreams. They're playing dreams. I just kept like grabbing her by the shoulders going, I can't believe we're experiencing this moment and this at the Warner at this exact moment. We're getting to hear this song played by the band. So that was definitely that was the highlight of my night.
It's always fun whenever an Allman tune comes up with Tedeschi Trucks. I always like to look around the audience and just see the joy in the audience as the first notes come out, because everybody just celebrates that they're covering it.
That's the right word, celebrates. Yeah, it is a celebration. And to your point about Gabe, Frank, like he did ring of Allman Brothers sound and Greg's sound, but it wasn't like he was doing an impression. It wasn't like he was trying to sound like Greg. It wasn't like he was forcing anything, and it wasn't like he wasn't being himself. But whatever it was, the technique, the style, the heart and soul, and how much you could feel how much he must love the original and must love the Allman Brothers and Greg and that music, to just kind of like channel the emotion in the same way that Greg did, and channel that emotion through his own abilities and style and sound, and it came out just as moving. Like, and I always say the same thing about Susan, like that she is just as moving when she does Allman Brothers songs as the original members themselves. It's amazing. They do it justice, and that 100%. Is a very hard thing to do. And podcast guest after podcast guest has talked about how to do an Allman Brothers song and do it justice and not sound like just some, no offense, but just some average bar band doing One Way Out or something is definitely a challenge. Like, to be on that sort of level of the OGs, Dwayne and all of them, is just amazing. I would love Dwayne to hear what he would think of Derek. Jesus. I talk about that a lot. Like, what if Dwayne could hear Derek, what would he think? It's like the Chuck Marvin Berry in Back to the Future giving the playing, it's your cousin Marvin Berry, listen to this.
Listen to this.
Well, you have to think that Dwayne founded that sound of the slide guitar. He was the one that found this very ornate, unique style of slide guitar that no one had really. I mean, there were the blues musicians, of the early 1940s. But Dwayne took it to a different level.
That's exactly. That's what happened. Yeah.
And then you had like Warren Hayes come in and like help it, but then you had Derek perfect it, and Derek he's on a different level. The way he plays that slide, the tones he brings out of the guitar on that Gibson SG, it's spiritual. That's the only way I can explain it. That you have Dwayne, Warren, and Derek, and you have this lineage of phenomenal guitar heroes. And Derek's at a point now where he's crafted this sound that I just haven't heard from anyone else do what he does.
Yeah, I feel that you're like almost like not supposed to use words like best or perfected when it comes to something objective like music. But when it comes to slide guitar, I'm probably just playing the guitar overall, like, those are appropriate words to describe, what Derek is able to do.
What's amazing about Derek's solos is there's no breaths. A lot of guitar players, when they do their solos, they take a breath. You have that little pause when they have a solo. Derek never pauses. He never takes that breath, and it all flows, and you follow it. He never kind of loses the audience in his solos. The solos always bring you where he's going, and he can always bring you along. And he never hesitates. There's just never a hesitation in his solos. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think he takes a breath, but there's not really a hesitation in terms of like, too much of him thinking. It all does very much flow out of him. But he does like breathe and I think. But I do know what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
In the second set when they played Dreams, I didn't come back down until Susan played Angel from Montgomery.
Yeah.
Like the other three, I'm looking at the set list going, I don't remember. I'm like, oh yeah, Angel from Montgomery. Like I still couldn't get my emotional like heart and my head space until I think I actually sat down when she played Angel from Montgomery. Because I was still like just spinning from Dreams.
And it was a beautiful rendition too of Angel from Montgomery. It really was.
I was at the back of it. I was like hoping they'd go into Sugaree, like just being a deadhead and just loving that. But they ended it, which was cool. It was all good. But I always love when they hit Sugaree on the back end of Angel.
What do you guys remember going back to the beginning? Because I do like I Can Feel You Smiling, and just to hear them do that in the acoustic style is always an intimate thing, and they don't play that one too often. But did it seem like emotional for Susan and for Derek and the band to be playing that, because it's such a overt, direct tribute to Kofi. It's one of the I Am the Moon Kofi songs, so to speak. Like for me, it's almost a little bit challenging in an emotional sense to listen to and to hear them play it. It's like it's very sad. It's very sad in a profound, moving way, of course, but and goosebumps in a lot of ways too. But what did you guys notice anything about the emotion of the crowd or the band while they're playing that song?
Bob?
I Can Feel You Smiling.
That song always kind of brings a tear to my eye, because I always think of my father. You know, it's a song of someone who's passed, and as I love Kofi, but that one always reminds me of my father. But it's always soft. It's Derek on an acoustic is so fun to watch because it doesn't happen so often, and he's just as skilled on an acoustic as he is on electric. So when he starts playing that acoustic, it's really beautiful. And that song itself is a great song, and it was a great way to start off the set. It kind of settled everybody down. It kind of gave everybody a good feeling, and I think it was a great way to start off that second set.
I think it's really a gift I think they've given us, and I may have even talked about this in so many words before, like, because there are so many, it's such a constant universal theme that everyone deals with directly in their lives is loss. So like we have this song now that we can lean on when we're experiencing in the crosshairs of a recent loss of someone we love and care about. And if not us directly, a friend of ours is suffering from a loss, and you could send them this song. You can literally send them this song, and maybe you'll appreciate this. Maybe this will make you feel better. Maybe this will provide an outlet, a cathartic release for you, as Bob kind of mentioned. And I'm sure he's not the only one. He's definitely not the only one who's shed a tear or two or more listening to that song. So they've given us this song that we have for ourselves and to share with others for the rest of our lives, because people are going to be dying on us. It's going to happen, unfortunately, not to be morbid or dark, but like
those certainties.
Right. And now we have at least some sort of, maybe not remedy, but something that will help us get by.
No, and as we walk through that set list, Bound for Glory was their last song before the encore. And Bound for Glory was a song performed in 2015, February 20th at the Warner, that my brother and I got to experience. And at his funeral, it was a non-traditional funeral. It was a celebration of life. And let me tell you, Bound for Glory was played multiple times at that funeral parlor. And it was not that stale, like quiet. It was a celebration of life for my brother. We had the Almonds, we had Pink Floyd, we had Grateful Dead. But Bound for Glory was a song that Misty and I poetically chose to be one, signifying the last one of the last songs Brian and I heard together, but also that song is just so spiritually uplifting about where I'm at and where I'm trying to go. And you guys are spot on what these songs and the lyrics and the emotions they evoke. And that's why this band is so special. It's at the end of the day, this band is like no other band performing in the United States or in the world today.
Yeah, they're able to even. I keep thinking even also, which I guess they did not play over these three, is "Soul Sweet Song." But like in some ways, I think that eventually is going to get tied to "I Can Feel You Smiling," and maybe we'll get those like back to back. The Kofi songs, kind of one more upbeat sounding, and obviously one a little bit more melancholy, so to speak. But even that song, they're able to like, at least off the top of my head, like write the lyrics in a way that seem very meaningful and very real, and not trite or not cliched or anything like that, but also like very personal to them, but still relatable universally, so that like you don't like everyone could put their own meaning and onto some of these songs. But obviously they have very specific meanings to the band too. So that's a skill and that's a talent, and that's something just so cool that this band does. What else you guys got to comment on set 2 or really anything?
Well, the last thing I'll share with you guys was Show Me, was the encore. So Misty and I are sitting there, end of the show, watching that last song, and about 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds to the end of that song, Derek breaks his high E string, the very high string on his guitar. And, we're up front and we see a roadie come around the back behind the drums holding a new Gibson SG, and Derek shakes him off, pulls the string out, throws it on the stage, and he finishes that with 4 guitar strings. He finishes that song, right?
I didn't notice
with
that.
5 or 4? 5 or he broke 2?
It's 5-string guitar. He broke his high E, so he finished the song with 4 guitar strings. So he finishes it, and he takes his string off and throws it on the ground right in between the horn section and the drum set. And after the show was over, I've always found that usually the pretty girl gets the set list or anything from the stage. So I tell Misty, go up there and, ask him for a set list. So Misty, of course, snags the set list, but she turns around and comes back and goes, I got the second half of the set list. And then I go, ask him for Derek's guitar string. And she freaking gets that guitar string.
Nice.
They're holding it right here.
Roddy's like, he knew exactly. She said, can I have his E string he broke? And I told her to say that. And he goes right to where it was on the floor, grabs it. And I was like, hell yeah.
Nice.
So it just made my night. Just freaking.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a unique one. And I know like some what's played again, jewelry and some of those those.
Yeah.
They make things out of. What are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna frame it? Are you gonna put it?
Yeah, it's gonna go in the shadow box with all the other posters I have. I think that I have 12 that are signed, and I have yet to put them in a shadow box. And Misty's like,
what is a shadow box? It's just like a light, like a display case type of thing.
Yeah, like a 2-inch where you can put like a guitar pick in it, like it's like a t-shirt. You can make it so like a picture on the wall, but it's deeper. You can have
That's what I need, because I got pins here. That works pretty good, but like I need to display. I have the slide, Derek slide, of course, and I need a case for that. I need to protect that and display it. There's work to do. That is super cool. What a great story. What a great.
It's so special.
Yeah, and so many people have these stories and. Yeah, no, the band is special, and it's just great the way they treat the fans. So like I was saying, you don't get this from every band. We're lucky.
Yeah, we very are. Very much are.
What else? Anything else we need to cover or talk about? Are you guys
Bob, you coming down next week for
I am. I'm coming down. I'll be down for the 3rd and the 4th shows.
All right.
Again, Friday and Saturday. No Thursday. A little tough.
We're gonna look for a ticket on Saturday. So after this is over, I'll connect with Adam. Maybe we can exchange information, and maybe we can meet up. If we get a ticket on Saturday, we'll definitely look for you.
Oh yeah, that'd be real cool, because I'm there with my wife, but I go to the shows by myself. So yeah, I always like to meet up with folks and make friends, and so I'm always up for that. So cool. I hope you guys make it. It's gonna be a great show.
So you're going to. So it's March 2, 3, 4, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you're going Friday and Saturday, Bob.
I'm going 3rd and 4th. Yeah.
And you may be going as well
on the 4th.
On the on the last night. Cool. Well, I'll get something on the calendar. Maybe I'll bother you guys again, do another recap, get some others on there. Yeah, this was super fun. Like, I want to continue to do more of this. Like, get like the boots on the ground recaps.
Adam, real fast. I was standing. I was on Saturday night. I was standing with my buddy, and he's a smoker outside waiting for to go in, and a fellow podcast viewer showed up and said, "Bob." I said, "Yeah, Bob Farrell." I said, "Yeah, you were on Adam's podcast, weren't you?" I said, "Yeah, his name's Rob from Chantilly." So just to let you know, there's plenty of people out there listening and viewing, and so I was attention.
Yeah, I was joking outside the Beacon when I went to the shows, and some people were recognizing me. And some others like, "Oh, yeah, people are recognizing. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm semi-known on this one alley, on this one street for 1 week of the year by some people." But nevertheless, I appreciate all the support and the kind words, and you guys for coming on and recapping the show for me. Anything you guys want to plug or promote? Frank, you mentioned that you run a brewery,
what's your brewery,
and you have live music there, and
whatnot.
So
Misty and I own Settle Down Easy Brewing in Falls Church, and our second location in Oakton, Virginia. Our Falls Church location is a spirit of live music, a lot of Grateful Dead jam bands. We actually have on the Saturday after Easter, we have Born Cross-Eyed playing. And we're going to welcome the first Tedeschi Trucks tribute band that will be playing that Saturday.
Very cool.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's an urban, big brewery in Falls Church. The one in Oakton, beer, wine, and cider, a little more high end. But music is in our soul. Music is in our passion. And we love meeting new people and turning them on to the Tedeschi Trucks. So thank you very much, Adam, for allowing us this opportunity to talk with you tonight.
Oh, for sure, we'll have to do it again. What was the name of that brewery one more time? The
Settle Down Easy Brewing.
All right, look that up, guys, for sure, and check that out if you're in the area. Thank you guys again. I'll boot you guys out, do my little outro, and we could chat a little more after the stream is done. But thank you again.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, we'll talk more soon. Take it easy, guys. Take care, Misty.
Bye-bye.
Later. Bye-bye. So there you go, episode 104, little live stream recapping the first 3 of 6 shows that the band, Tedeschi Trucks Band, is doing at the Warner. The next ones, as we were talking about, are March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So I'm sure I'll do a recap of those as well. I'll plan to. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Alex Leary, for the recordings. Thank you, Tedeschi Trucks Band, other fans, crew, all you guys for supporting the show, the band, and that was super fun. Like I've been talking about, I want to do more recaps with the boots on the ground at these shows and continue to live vicariously through all these great fans of this band that we all love so much. Hope everyone's doing okay out there at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Please subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, however you listen. Again, I'll get an audio version of this episode out soon. Positive reviews on Apple Podcasts are appreciated. Please subscribe on YouTube, like, share. I'm at Adam Choid on Instagram and Twitter. TedeschiTrucksBand.com is their official website. Buy tickets, buy merch, join the Swamp family, support the band. Tickets are on sale for lots of shows. Right now, at People We Love Podcast on Instagram is my other podcast, theeditedmovie.com, for a short film that I wrote and directed. I think that's about all I got for today. I may try to do another live stream later this week. We'll see, because they do have another show, I think, in Knoxville coming up. So I'm going to try to get something up maybe in the next 48 hours or so. But either way, we will talk soon. But I think that's about all I got for today. Thank you again, and let's talk soon. Later, guys.